Let's look now at another example. This one will have some simplifying involving fractions. Example 2 is 1/4 times, in parentheses, x plus 2 equals negative 2/3 times, in parentheses, x minus 9. We multiply 1/4 times the x plus 2 to get 1/4 x plus 1/4 of 2 is 2/4, which reduces to 1/2. So we have 1/4 x plus 1/2. And on the right, negative 2/3 times x is negative 2/3 x. Negative 2/3 times negative 9, because this is as if it's plus negative 9. Negative 2/3 times negative 9 is plus 6. Now we have variables on the left, and variable and constant on the left, variable and constant on the right, and so we have simplified as much as we can. Now you may recall that one use of the multiplication property of equations is to eliminate fractions. We certainly have fractions in this one. The fractions have denominators of 4, 2, and 3, as well as, of course, an understood 1 below this 6. A common denominator for 4, 2, 3, and 1 is 12, the least common denominator. So let's multiply both sides of this equation by 12 to eliminate the fractions. 12 times the left-hand side, 12 times the right-hand side. So we have 12 times 1/4 x plus 1/2, in parentheses, equals 12 times, in parentheses, negative 2/3 x plus 6. Distributing the 12 through each set of parentheses, 12 times 1/4 is 3, so we get 3x. 12 times 1/2 is 6, so we have 3x plus 6 on the left. 12 times negative 2/3 is negative 8, so we have negative 8x plus 12 times 6 is 72. The equation is now 3x plus 6 is equal to negative 8x plus 72. Notice that we now have on the left variable term and constant term. On the right, variable term and constant term. We need to get all the variables on the left, all the variables on the right, all the constants on the right. Let me say that again. We need to get all the variables on the left and all the constants on the right. So we remove the 6 from the left-hand side. To remove the 6, we add its opposite, so we'll add negative 6 to both sides of the equation. That gives us 3x plus 6 plus negative 6 equals negative 8x plus 72 plus negative 6. Combining terms, the 6 and negative 6 add up to 0, giving us 3x plus 0, or simply 3x. On the right, we have negative 8x plus 72 plus negative 6. We combine the constants 72 and negative 6 to get 66. Then we eliminate the negative 8x from the right side by adding its opposite. The opposite of negative 8x is positive 8x. That gives us 3x plus 8x equals negative 8x plus 66 plus 8x. 3x plus 8x is 11x. Negative 8x plus 8x adds up to 0, and so we get 66 plus 0, or simply 66. This gives us the equation 11x is equal to 66. To get the x by itself, all we must do is divide by the coefficient 11, divide both sides by 11. That gives us x equals 6. Let's go back through the process that's followed here. We'll come back to a listing of exactly what steps we take and in what order in just a few minutes, but this is a good one to illustrate how we're going to proceed. We begin by simplifying both sides of the equation. We multiply by the least common denominator of all the fractions to eliminate fractions. At that stage, we have variable and constant on the left, variable and constant on the right. One of my colleagues describes what we do next as sorting the laundry. When we get ready to wash clothes, we pile up the clothes so that the dark things are in one pile and the light things are in another. Otherwise, fading will cause all the things to be the wrong color. So we want to sort things to get the dark things on one side and the light things on the other. We can think of the dark things as the variable terms. We want to end up with variables on the left and constants on the right, like putting the dark clothes on one side and the light clothes on the other. So if we sort laundry, we think of, we've got a 6 over here that's on the wrong side, so we've got to move it out of there. Remove this from the wrong side by adding its opposite. In the next line, we notice that there's a variable on the wrong side. We remove it by adding its opposite. When we get down to the last step, notice that we have only variables on the left, only constants on the right. There's no extra term on either side. It's just variable term on the left, constant term on the right, and so our final step is to divide by the coefficient, and that gives us our result. Variable equals constant. Let's check this problem. Remember that to check the problem, we always write down the original problem. The check for this one is for 1/4 times x plus 2 equals negative 2/3 times x subtract 9. We make the T format and we copy the equation, leaving parentheses for the places that the variable sits. In this case, the number we're checking is 6, and so we write in 6 in the parentheses. This gives us on the left 1/4 times, in parentheses, 6 plus 2. On the right, negative 2/3 times, in parentheses, 6 subtract 9. Following the order of operations, we work inside the parentheses first. 6 plus 2 is 8, and so we have 1/4 times 8. 6 subtract 9 is negative 3, and so we have negative 2/3 times negative 3. Then 1/4 times 8 is 8/4, that reduces to 2. Negative 2/3 times negative 3 is positive 6/3, that reduces to 2. That means that we got the same thing on both sides, and our problem checks. And so 6 is the correct answer.